Telling you. The morning's got nothing but assholes out. Look at these motherfuckers. Why are they goddamn fucking stopped? Fogged up my windows again. Okay. We're gonna start the week off interesting. Try and get this right. I don't know if I can. Okay. You know how much I hate skinheads and them supremacists and the deniers and all of them crazy fuckers. Right?
Right.
Who think they're all this because God made them white. Okay?
Right.
Well, I'm going to give you 3 names. Let me see what kind of reaction you get. Alright, the first one's Kath. I'm going to try and get them right. Alright, Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson.
I don't know those names.
No familiarity, right?
Nope.
Don't know nothing about nothing?
I don't know them.
Okay. Back in the 1950s,
Well, that's probably why I don't know them.
before NASA was even NASA, they worked for the government for the pre-things to NASA. These women are human computers. Back in the 50s, there were no computers. The 50s and 60s, there were no computers. Calculations were done on chalkboards, whiteboards, paper. They used slide rules to get answers. Now, what was going on in the 1960s, you may ask?
The Civil Rights Movement.
No. We're talking about NASA.
The race to space.
The race to space, yes. These women were kept in the basement of a NASA building. And they calculated on a chalkboard the trajectory of all the space shots. How do you think when Alan Shepard, that crew-cutted lily white motherfucker that they always talk about as a hero, went into his first shot on top of a rocket, how do you think that the planes and the ships that recovered him in the ocean were so close? I mean, the Pacific Ocean is really fucking big. What's the chances of a Navy ship being within 20 miles of where he is?
Math.
These women calculated exactly where he would come down. And the Navy sent ships to that area, and they were like 20, 25 miles within pinpoint. And they did it on a blackboard, using their heads. It was all calculations that they did. John Glenn, the first man actually into space to circle the Earth, wouldn't do anything until the calculations were checked by the women in the basement. They had a rudimentary computer, but at the time computers were just coming out.
Crazy squirrel.
Yeah, squirrel. And nobody really trusted them all that much, and it took so long for them to come up with an equation that when he was going to be shot into space and circle the Earth, he said he wouldn't do it unless the women in the basement checked the calculations first. And the women in the basement were all black, and and they were all mathematicians. So, all you fucking skinheads talking about white is the better, they're all full of shit. Because we wouldn't be in space without these black women. Because their calculations and all their mathematical genius is what put us there. Not some lily white motherfucker. Them black women.
What were the rest of your notes?
Okay. Vaughn was a mathematician, and she led a computing unit. I mean, these are the only 3 names that I found. There was a whole lot more. Alright? Jackson, Dorothy, Mary Jackson, she was a wind tunnel expert. She figured out all the calculations for wind velocities and all that other bullshit in a wind tunnel. Johnson worked on the Mercury project, which was the very first one. Then she worked with John Glenn. She worked on Apollo 11. And remember Apollo 13?
Yes, I do.
Remember the movie? You know, remember when Hanks was talking about he wanted the numbers and all of that?
Yeah.
Director? Well, Kathleen Johnson's the one that gave him all the fucking numbers to come home.
Why wasn't she in the movie?
Why wasn't she in the movie? You'd have to ask Tom Hanks. You'd have to ask Ron, whatever his name
Howard.
is. Ron Howard about that, why he didn't mention that. But her calculations were the ones that made it possible for them to come home. Because without her, they would have been lost.
I think they've made a movie about these women.
There is a movie coming out. I don't know the title of it. You'd have to ask Pimpy, because actually she helped me with this, because we were watching a show and it was mentioned in the show. It was one of those little one-line shits in the show that caught my ear, and I had her look up the name, and then she looked up the name and told me what the woman did, and then I went and checked on the rest of it. But yeah, without them, there would have been no space program. Because they did all the calculating. Little fucking slide rules and chalk on a board.
That's amazing.
So, all you fucking skinheads, go fuck yourselves.
So they were rocket scientists.
Yeah, if you want to say it that way, yeah. They were mathematicians. They were human calculators.
Why were we in the basement?
Because they were black and NASA was segregated. You're talking 1950s, 1960s. You know, you gotta remember the era. They actually fucking make me laugh about how good they are and how this, that, and the other. You wouldn't have a third of the shit you have now if it wasn't for Arab fucking people bringing their knowledge. Now them helping with the space program, and they just deny all that shit. You know, act like they're inferior and all this other shit. You know, get over yourself. Get the fuck over yourself. Just cause you're white doesn't mean you're the best. And again with this bullshit, what the fuck are they doing here? Why is this closed? They're working over there, why is it closed here? Fucking douchebags. That's all they are, douchebags. See, so there's brightness in every race. Just remember that. And every race depends on every other race to survive. Remember that. You gotta go to work, so bye, because you're late.